Hello everyone. I'm going to be posting this video on both my channels because if you've watched videos in either of them, you've seen my little dog Marty join me. And I knew he was going downhill for several days. And I came home from work on the night of March 15th and I found that he had passed away. He was with me for 16 years, which is almost half my life. So you can imagine what a big part of my life he was, and not having him with me has left quite a void behind. He was such a little love. He slept right beside me every night. He was always either on my lap or right beside me, and I mean, there's so much I could say that even though I thought about what I wanted to say before I made this, I mean, it seems like I can barely start. I'd like to not just remember his last days, but to remember how his whole life was. He was originally going to be my sister's dog. She wanted either a Pomeranian or a Chihuahua, and I happened to see this ad in the newspaper for Pomeranian puppies. And I'll never forget when we went to pick out a puppy, I patted the ground and called, here, puppy. And he was the only one who came out of his whole litter. He was always an active little puppy. He loved to play tug of war. When we first took him out potty training him, he grabbed the end of the leash in his mouth and pulled backwards. If he got out the door, good luck, 'cause you'd have fun chasing him. That was his favorite thing as a puppy, was to be chased. Um, his favorite thing really actually was just being with us, because anytime we left the house, he was upset and wanted to be with us, and he used to bark like crazy when I'd have to leave for work, and that stopped when he sadly lost his hearing. He was deaf for several years, but when I talked to him, he always knew, I think, what I was saying. He always licked my face and showed lots of love. And as playful as he was with a puppy, playful as he was as a puppy, at the end of his life, all he wanted to do was be snuggled with. And the last 2 days, I was off from work, and we just cuddled, and he loved to lay underneath the blankets. He'd lay with his head on my chest, and I'd cover him up. And I always said he was my little doctor because he always knew how to make me feel better when I was ill or depressed or anything like that. He was such a joy in my life, and I read something recently on Facebook from the point of view of a fur baby who'd passed away, and it said, I was a source of joy, don't let me be a source of grief. And I'm trying because I know he wouldn't want me to grieve, but it is just so hard to not have him in my life. And as much as I miss him, I don't think it's quite fully sunk in yet that he's gone, because I still start to do the little things that were a daily routine with him. Then I'm like, oh yeah, he's not here to, put on his leash to take him out. He's not going to be in the recliner anymore for me to scooch him over a little bit for me to sit down beside him. But he's always going to be with me. And somebody who was as much a part of my life as he was, I mean, there's so much that I wish I could thank him for. There's always something that you wish you could have done after someone you love is gone. You always think, I wish I'd have done this or that. But in the end, all I can think is, he loved me, and I know that he knew I loved him, because there's nobody who can give purer love than a fur baby, and they always understand, I think, how people feel about them. This doesn't even begin to cover all I could say, but it's just all that comes to my mind at the moment. Marty, I love you, and if I could have one magic wish, it would be to have made you a little puppy again. But I know that you're not suffering anymore. The last couple years of your life, age took its toll, and I'll see you again someday, sweetheart.